John Locke was a physician and philosopher. His great work of political theory appeared with 1690 on the title page, and without his name anywhere on it. The First Treatise is a patient, line-by-line demolition of Filmer. It takes Patriarcha apart, tracks the descent of authority from Adam through every joint of the argument, and leaves it in pieces. The Second Treatise is the one that built the structure the future world would live in. Locke begins exactly where Filmer said no one could begin, with human beings as they are by nature, before any government exists. In that state, men are free and equal, not free to do whatever they wish. Locke is emphatic about the state of nature is not a state of license. They are bound by a law of nature, which is reason, and which teaches, in his words, that being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. Rights on this account are not the gift of the government. They exist before government. In the moral structure of the human person, government does not create them. Government is created to protect them. From that root, Locke derived his theory of property, which became one of the most consequential and most contested legacies. Every man, he wrote, has a property in his own person. This nobody has any right to but himself. That claim supplies the starting point, and from it property in things follows. Because a man owns the labor of his own body, and when he applies that labor to something originally given to humankind in common, clearing a field, gathering a harvest, drawing water, he joins something of himself to it, and it becomes his. Two qualifications belong here because Locke put them there. The first is that this premise was not that the world lay ownerless and free for the taking. His premise was that God had given earth to human beings in common, and that individual property arises when labor is mixed with that common stock. The second is that Locke set a limit on a person's dominion over himself. Later thinkers would develop the property in one's own person into a fuller doctrine of self-ownership. But Locke held that human beings are ultimately the workmanship and the property of their maker, and therefore they may not, for example, destroy themselves or wholly enslave themselves. A man owns himself, on Locke's account, as a steward rather than as an absolute proprietor. What matters politically is the conclusion. Property is not a grant from the sovereign, which the sovereign may therefore revoke. It arises from labor, before government and independent of it. And it sets a limit on what any government may rightly do. A ruler who takes his subjects' property at will is not exercising a legitimate power. He is committing the very theft that government exists to prevent.